What's up, everybody? How are you? It's Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Foster. Today, got a great show. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Look at that. It's December 7th. Time is flying. Can't believe it. We were just talking about Thanksgiving. We were talking about Labor Day. We were talking about Memorial Weekend. We were talking about so many different other things. Halloween. You know, I was in my heaven. I was watching all my scary movies and stuff. Now, now everything is about Christmas holidays and Rudolph and Jack Frost and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, though. Keep the holiday spirit. Whatever. Listen, you're still here and you're still alive. So keep the energy positive. Saying all that, everything is still going on. I got a good show tonight. I got some dynamic brothers with me. I'll get into them a little in a few minutes. Just want to talk about the sponsors. Soft Illusions Art Gallery. My wife and her mother, their gallery. Listen, inexpensive things. Go to the website. You can look at it. You can see some beautiful stuff. You got Reggie Well quality speakers. Inexpensive. If you want to give somebody something of quality, but you don't want to go overboard. Delhi Arts and Survival magazine, the #1 martial arts magazine in the country right now. You can buy it on Amazon. So check them out. You can also Ingram Taxes. If you need help with your taxes, the season is about to come around again. So sorry. I was reading something. Yeah. So Ingram Taxes, they need you. If you're in Harlem, Melba Wilson. If you're in Harlem, also Leon Ellen, Chocolat. So these are things that you can do. These are people that support me, and I support them. And I just wanted to give back and show some love. So tonight, like I said, I have some special guys in the building. I don't know if the other fellas are joining in, but if not, we're gonna rock with these brothers because they're more than knowledgeable of what the topics we're going to talk about, and they're my college roommate and my ball mates, my brothers. Listen, it was so good that they told me they would join the show tonight. So it is almost it's beautiful tonight. We get to converse with each other. We get to see each other, wish each other happy holidays. I'm talking about we going back, everybody 18, 17 years old. These are my guys. We played on the asphalt together, on the hardwood. Stan Brown running us around, busting and shit. So it's definitely a college reunion right now. And I'll introduce them. Tonight, we're going to talk about Atiana Jefferson. So these brothers are former law enforcement officers, as I am. I know them. They're family. They're not just friends. They're family. And then we're going to talk about Georgia, and we're going to talk about some other stuff too. So first and foremost, we've all in different cities. So if any of my North Carolina people, not North Carolina, but Atlanta people are listening tonight, please, I need you to tell me what's the temperature like out there. Also, too, I want to ask Norm, what's going on in North Carolina about that power plant being attacked, if he knows anything about that. But first and foremost, let me introduce them. I'll start with my brother at the bottom, Alonzo Moreland. What's up, Alonzo? Big Buck.
What's going on, Big Bill?
Yo, so.
Big Norm. Yo, love you, brothers, man.
Love you
Good
too,
to see y'all.
Love you, man.
Absolutely.
Love you.
Absolutely. These are my guys. Lonzo, just give them a brief breakdown on your background in law enforcement for the people, please.
Okay, yeah, sure. 23-year veteran of Baltimore police, retired as a captain. Some of the assignments I had was, of course, like everybody, drug enforcement, was a sergeant in homicide, did several years in internal affairs, was an interim director of the police academy, had an investigative unit, state's attorney's office. So I've been all over the place.
Good. Thank you. Now the other one, listen, it was, he was like Shaq. If we ain't giving the ball, he would have got mad at us. But, he's a Capricorn. He's my Capricorn brother and one of the nicest brothers I know. We call him Big Norm, but it's Norman Davis to you all. What's up, Norm?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Oh, man, God is good, brother, especially to see you too, man. So, Norm, just give him a background on your law enforcement history too.
Well, I go back 18 years. Mine was more the forensic side. Then I did some undercover.
Mhm.
Um, I did no knock warrants.
Okay.
Uh, because I'm down here in North Carolina, it's a lot different than the urban cities.
Right.
So a lot of the things that I did were like I said, forensic side,
Hmm.
the serving of no knock warrants, fugitive recovery, and then on my downside, um, I did reentry
Hmm.
for the men and women coming home from federal and state prison.
Okay.
So I did state time, I did federal time as far as working. Um, it was a career that I didn't choose; it chose me,
Absolutely. Let
and
me ask
it's
you a
not
question.
meant.
You did sheriff work too, didn't you? I think.
Yes, I started out with the sheriff department down here with Big John Baker,
Hmm.
and
Mm.
he was one that got me. He got me in the undercover, and the sheriff do a lot of undercover because we have sheriff and police down here, um, because of the counties and the state, city. Um, I don't regret it. I don't regret anything I've did. Um, it just makes you stronger.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
And as far as you talking about down here, Bill, with this power grid, I've been saying that for a while. It's just a matter of time. That's domestic. That's domestic terrorism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What happened is that someone shot the power grids up here,
Mm.
and they believing they did it with an AR-15 because it was multiple shots, over 23 shots fired, and it took a whole town into darkness.
Wow.
And so they're just now getting their power back on after 72 hours or more in the dark, where a person that's passed away from it because of the cold. Elderly people can't take the cold. So I'm hoping that whoever did it get charged with murder,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep.
because when they knocked the power out, it knocked the power out to the nursing homes, the rehab facilities. Hospitals had their own generators, so they were able to maintain better than a lot of the smaller rehab facilities and things like that. So
Yeah.
I just hope that when they catch somebody, they will get charged with murder for
Mm-hmm.
the person passing away.
Wow. Yeah. So that's crazy. Let me just say this for those that don't know. Uh, 20-year career NYPD patrol, uh, narcotics. I did undercover work. I did investigative work. I was a primary, a ghost. I've done training. I've been a part of training exercises. Uh, expert, interrogator, expert, uh, witness for the Bronx DA's office. Also did intel, military protection. I've guarded heads of states, of cities, countries, all the way up to the president of the United States. So I've done countless search warrants, knocks, and all these things of this magnitude. So I wanted to run that down there because we have some things I want to talk about. Like you said, Norman talked about domestic terrorists and things of that magnitude. So, gentlemen, I guess I really want to start with the real thing. I'll leave the politics for later. Let's talk about Atiana Jefferson. You have and I don't know if you guys even know about the woman in Dallas, 77-year-old woman that for the search warrant. We'll talk about that story. But we're going to talk about Miss Jefferson. Miss Jefferson was home. She was playing PlayStation with her nephew, babysitting.
Mm-hmm.
She was cooking, and I guess you know how sometimes you might let something overburn or cook some smoke.
Mm-hmm.
She black, we white. You overcook something, you'd be like, "Yo, all right."
Open
So
the door.
hey, there you go. Crack the door, open the window. So it was late at night. She cracks the door, so she continues to play with the nephew. The neighbor, concerned citizen, we'll talk about him, but we got it. Concerned citizen on the 911. He's like, yo, I don't think this is,
non-emergency line.
Non-emergency line. Absolutely. It's not any, it's nothing out, it's something different, but he's on a more wellness, like, okay, let's check this out more or less than, okay, somebody's in there robbing and stealing and killing. Sends an officer, because with you guys, we're going to go through the checks and balances. We're going to talk about tactics. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. And the officer is in the back, makes noise. He's sneaking up. He makes noise. Miss Jefferson hears him or hears somebody, unbeknown to her. Now we're in a right to carry state. She gets her firearm, legal firearm. She goes to see what the noise is. The officer sees her approaching with the gun. Then he does. I don't even think he identified himself. I got to look at the tape again. I wish I could show it. He doesn't identify himself, and he shoots. If I'm wrong, correct me, anybody. Type in, let me know, whatever. And he shoots and kills him. Shoots one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reason why I'm pointing out these bullets like one time and things of that magnitude is because this is what they're saying. Like, well, he didn't mean to really kill her. He shot one time. And unbeknown to like other cases where there's been 12, 15 multiple shots. So he shot. What's up, Mark? I see you chiming in. And shout out to everybody chiming in. Appreciate it. So I'm gonna write down some pros and cons as we talk about this. Now, Alonzo, you was a supervisor. First and foremost, as a man, how do you feel about this case? And then we'll get in. I'll ask you and Norm, how do you feel as a man? How do you feel about this case? And then as a law enforcement, a man in law enforcement, we'll get into this. So how do you feel? Go ahead.
So as a man, this cuts deep, like many of the others. And don't know this officer, Aaron, forgot his last name.
I think it's Dean. Yeah.
Don't know the young dude. Don't know what he was thinking. But what I do know is what I've seen frequently, and that is the rules of engagement, the sense of panic always seems to be present in certain cases. Mm-hmm. And as a man, I can't get with that, especially, you guys are identified with this, how we grew up and where we grew up, yes. Where there's danger everywhere. You learn the degrees of danger. You learn how not to put yourself in danger. You learn, who to be with and who not to be with. And you also learn how to reserve yourself, right? Until you got to spring. And as a man, I just can't see a clear thinking person operating the way he did.
Right. Thank you. Norm, what's your thought process, brother?
It's a shame. You would expect more from a trained person, a person that had training in firearm safety, a person who was supposed to be calm under fire. That's what they get paid for. It's a shame that, I don't know, I just feel like we're worth more dead than alive in today's society. As a man, I feel like he's going to go on about his day with a slap on the wrist. I'm just at the point where I'm just, this whole thing called life is a disappointment now, because we never thought it would come to this. We never thought it'd get this bad where you can't be in your own home without uh, being a threat to someone in your own home. I just hope that that his his police force do right by the family. Um, I hope that the district attorney will prosecute him for murder.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you a question, and that's going to lead to this. So, shout out to everybody watching. I see you, Mark. I see you, Vanessa. I see you, Stefania. I was going to write hello to you guys. So, okay, let's talk about this. Both of you guys made up great points. So, Norm, you already said you feel they should try him for murder because he's on trial for that.
Mhm.
Alonzo, what do you feel? Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I remember when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the news of it, I should say.
Right.
And like everybody, I watched the video, it seemed like 50, 60 times. And, from a perspective of a person who investigated those,
Yes.
was part of my time in internal and homicide was investigating police involved shootings.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as training others on how to investigate them.
Good.
And, just in that brief clip, you can see things that he did tactically wrong and things that he did strategically wrong to put himself in a situation where he felt he was in danger, right? They teach us like elementary to police safety, never put yourself in the funnel, whether it's a doorway or in a window, right?
Absolutely.
Never jump in front of a moving car because bullets ain't going to stop a car. You're just going to make a situation worse.
Worse.
Absolutely.
You have a ton of tools on you to use. Understand the call for service, right? But then also once you get that call for service, you already got the context. The neighbor said he believes the people are home. They're usually home. You see the cars in the driveway. You see the door basically open and the light on. It's a welfare check.
Yes. Yes.
You knock on the door. You announce yourself. Ask everybody they okay. That's all you need to do. You sneaking behind back for a welfare check in a carry state
Yeah.
at night
Absolutely.
with
Yeah.
flashlights.
Absolutely.
That was my disappointment was that he didn't announce himself. He should have banged on the front door and announced himself. And like you said,
Yeah,
is everyone okay? Is anyone home?
right.
This is Officer.
He created a situation that in his mind became dangerous for him. He created that situation with his tactics before a shot was ever fired.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Mhm.
he
Go ahead.
didn't follow. He didn't. To me, my opinion, I don't believe he followed procedure. And if I'm wrong, correct me. But the protocol was not followed.
Well, let's break this down together. So, like you said, like I've been an expert witness on the thing, and we tactically, people have always come to me for that. So I deem myself an expert in a lot of things because working in these fields and working in these streets. First and foremost, it's a wellness check, like we all three mentioned. So, two, if you're feeling suspicious about something, even let's put it there. Even if you're feeling suspicious about something, can I get central? Can I get another unit here? You know what I'm saying? Because and I was watching the trial, and the reason why I tell you that this is what they were trying to bring out, that the neighborhood was bad. And this goes to what Vanessa is saying right now. Shout out to Vanessa. Vanessa, I love to hear what you're going to tell me about what's happening in Atlanta and the energy. She said this disparity of these incidents are epic now when looking at our community compared to other communities. Why are we the focus points in these incidents? Absolutely.
Mhm.
So the bottom line is it's a wellness check. The lights are on. You don't see any suspicious activity. Burglars don't cut on lights. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If burglar cut on lights, then he's relaxing. He's not burglarizing. He's staying.
That's
you know
right.
What I'm saying? So now we deal with the cultural mental state. Now we in my field of psychological aspect. You're going straight on the community that you supposedly protect and serve, but you're really policing. Because if
Big
you're going
difference.
in thinking crime
Mm-hmm.
off a wellness check, then you're looking for a crime. You know what I'm trying to say?
You're gonna find it.
There isn't anything that he would have saw that would have made him feel comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's thinking at the time, he's thinking that this is a bad neighborhood. He's not thinking that the person actually opened up the damn door themselves. And he's like you said, Alonzo, I think it was you.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a right to carry, or Norman, one of you guys said it was a
Mm-hmm.
right to carry state. So the bottom line is, where are we at tactically with this? So he's dropping the ball all the way around.
Everywhere.
Now, let's stay with this, because officers, we know, would say it's unfortunate that, yeah, he killed her, but we react in split seconds. He was just doing his job. He was called there. Listen, everybody, we get that. We all know we have a tough job, us included, from a standpoint of ethnicity. But let's deal with the mindset of this. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's a wellness check. He didn't say, I saw something. He said the only thing that he said, excuse me, is that it's not like them to have the door open. That's all he said.
That's
That's
it.
all he said.
You can't smell the charcoal burning when you walk up past to the house. Come on, use your senses.
So, Bill, let me ask you, as a man, what do you feel?
I feel it's messed up. I feel that time and time again, it's an excuse for us to be shot.
Thank you.
It's always the neighborhood. It's a tragedy, but this is our job. It's unfortunate. It's all these adjectives that still will not bring this life back. And we don't see this in the white communities. We don't see these kind of mistakes. And the media doesn't show, like I've had a conversation today earlier with somebody, and they always want to talk about, yeah, white people are shot more than people of color. Okay, but there are more of you in a sense, right? And the news doesn't mention it, because why? You want to portray people of color as savages and animals. I get it, but you don't want to portray the hillbillies or the white people as savages and animals, because they are. The narrative changes. At college games, they do more destruction of property and things of that magnitude. But it's just saying, oh, they're so happy. When we do it, we're wilding. So the terminology is different, and it's a shame that the media still hasn't changed on that. We can even talk about that before we get out of here too, about the media, like LeBron James questioned the media on why you're not talking about Jerry Jones, but you want to keep asking me about Kyrie. But we'll get back to that. So I feel it's almost like I'm tired of hearing excuses for us. I'm tired of hearing
they're lazy and they're pathetic.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. I understand. It's unfortunate. Listen, dude. When do we, and I say we, because now I'm gonna put the umbrella on the law enforcement aspect, because not us, because we don't see black people making these we don't see black officers making these mistakes. It's
not at that rate,
right? It's always the white officer. Yeah, it's the white officer making a mistake to the black person. And that one black officer that shot that white woman,
he got prosecuted.
He went to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
and that's what I'm saying, though, Bill.
And rightfully so.
I'm tired of seeing.
Rightfully so.
I'm tired of seeing us getting shot. I'm tired of seeing us getting a check because they killed our brother or sister or mother, father, or whatever. And all the police department is going to do, I hope the DA prosecute them to the fullest.
Right.
But I know the police department is going to cut them a check, or the city's going to cut them a check for the loss of a parent, a loss of the grandmother. With the money will never take the place, but they try to pacify you by saying, "Oh, it happened. Here you go, going about your business." But yet that officer, the black officer that shot the white lady, oh, he went away quick. It seemed like
Yeah,
they had it.
I don't even remember them going 2 years for a trial, or 3 years.
No, this is 3 years here.
Yeah,
They went 2
like that.
days
Mhm.
with the white with
Yeah.
the black officer. They went 2 days. They got him out of there quick.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's
it's
a
a
shame, yeah.
shame. It's a shame we don't have leaders that'll step up. You know, we got some that are trying to do better,
Yes,
but I feel like it's a political thing, and like you said, we'll get into that later. But I
yes,
feel like all the politicians are nothing but pawns for the bigger company, the bigger entities.
exactly. But
So
Bill,
Vanessa
if
has a
I
question.
may,
Go ahead, Lonzo. You wanted to say something?
I
Go ahead,
think
Lonzo.
it's important also that, when we talk about Miss Jefferson, she was a 28-year-old lady who was in Fort Worth to take care of her mother and her nephew.
Right,
She
right.
was a pre-med graduate, I think Xavier,
Yes,
bright future, um, no issues, no issues that would cause anyone to do her harm. Just a regular good person.
a law-abiding citizen. You
Had
know what I'm
a
saying?
licensed firearm and she
Yep,
had a concealed to carry permit
absolutely.
in her
So,
home.
ain't that something? And that's what's so sad. And we're going to talk about that too. That's another rabbit hole we're going to go down. So Vanessa, and I'm going to propose this question to you guys, and I'll start with you, Alonzo, and then I'll let Norman finish it. Vanessa says, "Is this by design to control our people and keep us in line, so to speak?"
I don't It's by design, but it's not a contemporary design. I mean, this is our country. This is
Right.
our history. Police in the old United States, the pre-Civil War and the post-construction United States, police were used as slave catchers,
Of
was
course.
used as people to round you up. Many of them were part of the Klan, just like the town mayors and ministers and everything else. The law is working the way it was designed, but it's not a contemporary design. This is something that was designed a long time ago, and those attitudes remain. Granted, that's not everyone. Granted, in most of these cases, if you look at the training is probably solid. Like nowhere in the United States do they teach you to shoot through a window where you can't see your adversary or see your subject, right? That's not training. No one tells you to shoot a person in the back who's running away, who never posed a threat. Like, so it's the attitudes, and the attitudes are part of that larger conversation. So the short of it is, yes, it's by design, and even the people who are committing these acts, they don't really know what that design is. They're caught up in the vacuum of responding and reacting the way they've been conditioned to.
Absolutely. Norm, your thoughts?
well, like Alonzo said, it's a condition that's been decades, centuries in the making. Um, as someone who's been shot at and shot in the line of duty, we have a mental deficiency as police officers. I believe we do, because we're the only ones that run towards gunfire instead of running away like everybody else. So under fire, you have to be calm and cool and collective. So he wasn't under fire. She didn't pose a threat to him in any way. Never once did they show her raising the gun.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've been conditioned that what they do to us is fine, because there's no penalty for them.
Yeah,
And I always say the Klan has traded in the white robes for the blue suits
yeah,
and the shirt and tie as the lawyers and the
Mhm.
DAs.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's by design. It's by
You know,
design.
you know.
If you want to
Go ahead.
kill
I'm
it, you
sorry.
want
Go
to kill.
ahead. I'm sorry.
you want to kill something, you kill the roots.
Yeah.
And black women, our kids, our young men are the roots that are being killed. And
Yes.
we just, I mean, and I had one officer tell me, well, if y'all killing yourselves, why can't we? You know? So
Yeah. Yeah.
until we get that negativity that you my enemy and you my brother, we got to get out of that mind state.
Yeah.
So that way
Absolutely.
we can't give them the blueprint for the killing us.
Yeah. Yeah. And because that's that. So, I mean, like I've had people tell me, oh, well, Black Lives Matter. Why they not going out in the communities? It's like, yo, it's always the so, how come? Like
Mm-hmm.
the nan shit. Like, come on,
Like
bro.
that make the wrong okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And see, this is where the problem really, like you said, you guys both articulated. First, we all know, like, law enforcement back in the days, who they were and what they did. Most of
Yes.
this KKK or these groups were civil servants. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we understand. Like I tell people all the time now, the culture has shifted across the country and how to be with us and people of color.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mindset, it's embedded from great grandfather or grandfather. And then listen, we know we've worked with somebody, maybe not them, the person, but somebody in their family, great
Mm-hmm.
grandfather was KKK, was part of some group
Absolutely.
that hated black people,
Mm-hmm.
and they've heard the stories. It's like when you talk to people right now, and if I could talk to a person, a young kid, and I can tell how his mindset is from his upbringing. I can talk to a young kid and he say, "Oh, you're retired to law enforcement? Oh, thank you for your service. Where did you get that from?" Young people don't say that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it, but young people don't talk like that. So you
Mm-hmm.
got to hear your parents or your grandparents say that to other people, because you don't hear black people talking about thank you for your service. It's not too much.
Mm-hmm.
You maybe far, maybe our family may do it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But the average black kid or Latin kid, you'd be like, "Yo, thank you for your service." You law enforcement. Have you ever shot somebody? That's the first question that they come out
Plus
with.
Yeah.
the experience is different.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then the parent is saying, "Can I get a PBA card?" You know what I'm saying? A courtesy card. So,
Right.
so we have to understand in dealing with the mindset. I don't like the fact that, I used to hear officers say, officers don't go to work wanting to kill people.
Some do.
Some do. A
I've
lot
met a
do.
few.
Yeah, exactly. See. This is what the thing is, and everybody that's listening out here, please share this, because we having a real moment. You have black officers telling you what it's like. You understand what I'm saying? We was part of a band, but didn't mean we sang every song. You understand what I'm trying to say? We
You've
didn't
had
sing
you've
every song.
had you've
But
had officers that you work with that'll kill you
mm-hmm.
and say you got killed in the line of duty.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
You know.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one thing about the police departments around the country is that they took away a lot of the benefits of being a police officer. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that, you don't get the respect like you did back in the 60s, 70s,
Yeah,
80s when we was coming up.
yeah,
You know, the three of us, we were coming up in the late 80s, and police officers lived on the block. Police officers knew your name.
absolutely.
We had PAL,
But
we
we
had
had horrible police officers back then too, Norm.
Yeah,
yeah,
And I
we had
think this thing has materialized over time. You know, I think that I'm sorry to cut you off, Norm. I'm sorry.
no,
Um,
go ahead.
but I hear what you're saying. Um, I think by and large, on average, the average person respects the profession of police officers The police officer profession, what people are tired of are police officers who should not be police
Yes.
carrying a badge. Because just like going from poor to being rich, right? Having a lot of money will help you become more of who you are.
Mhm.
Having a badge gives you access. So what type of person you are, you're going to be that person even more with a badge and a gun and a uniform. If you
Mhm.
love helping people, what better job to have than to help people, right? If you
Absolutely.
love serving the community, you're not going to find too many professions that allow you to serve more than being a police. But yo, if you're a bum, if you're a thief, if you're a bully, if you're an abuser, there's no better place to be than with a badge and a gun because you're going to have unlimited access to do that all day, every day.
Well,
Absolutely.
a lot of it. Well, I can't speak about the urban cities, but I know here a lot of the police officers, it was hereditary that they become police officers because their great grandfather was a police officer,
True.
their grandfather was a police officer, father was a police officer. So it's like a hereditary thing that they should be police officers, and a lot of them are not equipped to be police officers
Mhm.
because the fear factor. They run up on a black person, they're scared, but they have a gun and a badge.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So it equals out for them because if you said something back to them, oh, I'm fearful. I'm gonna just shoot you.
Now
You
think
know?
about this. Think about this, and I'm gonna piggyback off what you said, and I'm gonna segue into something else. We've seen officers escalate things because
Yes.
the one thing that you do that you think is the stopper sometimes can be the problem. So if you go right to your gun and be like, "Shut up, get back, put your hands up," now you've escalated to there's no the next level is to shoot me.
To shoot.
Because the bottom line is you can't go here with me,
Mhm.
and if I knock it out the way, oh, he tried to grab my gun. Now you shoot because now I didn't win. I grabbed your heart. Once I took your gun, or I fought you, I grabbed your heart. So this is the problem. Like, why would you escalate? This man is going up on a wellness check. He sees the lights on in the house. You back there, you damn near clutched yourself out. You bumbling, making noise. So you alerting the people in it. If there was a robber in there, you just alerted them like, yo, okay, somebody's out there too.
Mhm.
Now you sneaking up in the back. Why didn't you go to the front first?
To the front.
Right? To the front. And then you're in the back with the lights on and the door open, and you pull your gun out automatically. So now there's going to be
Mhm.
on, and now stay with me, fellas. There's going to be law enforcement officers say, "Yo, well, you can't tell somebody when to pull their gun out and how to do this and all that. That shit, right?" I
Mhm.
get that because I don't know where your heart is. You understand what I'm trying to say? But what I'm trying to tell you is, what was your level of threat that made you get for your gun
Mhm.
instead of? Let me tell you something. The best defense right here, these eyes. I'm gonna be peeping. What do I look?
Mhm.
I'm gonna ascertain the whole shit. You
Mhm.
know, running car. Is it hot? Is it
Mhm.
cold? Where what lights are on? Are the lights on upstairs or the lights on downstairs? The
Mhm.
door is wide open. Do I hear laughter? You know what I'm saying? Before I
It's
go
yeah.
all this, my tactic game is bananas. So before
Mhm.
I even step on the scene, I've done all this work. You know what I'm saying? Listen,
Absolutely.
I might have damn near knocked. If the neighbor, I'm gonna say, "Yo, come here. Go knock on the door. You
But
got a phone number? Call them."
Yeah.
Bill,
Yeah. Absolutely.
let me ask you too is this.
Uh-huh.
Your neighbor calls and said, look, I need you to check on my mother next door. You go over there and the door's open. First thing you're gonna do is knock, bang on the door, bam, bam,
Yep.
bam, bam. Miss Johnson, you okay? Miss
Absolutely.
Johnson,
Yeah.
this is Bill from next door.
Yeah.
Miss Johnson, this is Alonzo.
Yeah.
That's
You
why I
okay?
say.
That's what I'm saying. That would
Mhm.
have been the logical thing to do.
That's why I say, Norm, and it's piggybacking on what you said, Bill. It's usually never about training. Again, especially in the larger cities, we all get very similar type of training. The same training you got in NYC, Bill, is
Mm-hmm.
basically the same training I got here in Baltimore. It's the
Absolutely.
same training my people got out there in California, right? Nobody is teaching guys to shoot at a silhouette. Nobody is teaching people to go to a wellness check with your gun out. Nobody's teaching that. That's
Yeah.
that's the fear factor that you talked about. That's learning. That's forgetting every bit of tactics that you've ever learned. Even if that fear factor was there, there's still tactics. And if that person would have used tactics, it would have never happened because tactics would have dictated, okay, be logical. You can't use tactics when you're illogical.
No, you
You
can't.
know,
And that's a problem. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Norm, please.
I just want to say this real quick. The training is universal. Training is pretty much universal across the board. So the same training that Lonzo had, Bill had, I had, as far as how to enter, how to do a wellness check, how to announce yourself, all that was trained, was taught on day one.
You know, let
and
And
me
it went on,
likewise,
go ahead, please. Go. Mhm.
and
and it
and
went
I,
on for a while. Even when you was doing with your training officer, and you going to what? Look, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do.
mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
but you some cases are different.
Oh yeah.
You know? So
But it always
you
comes
gotta be.
back to how you interpret your training and how you interpret the threat or the lack of threat. And a lot of that is dictated by the color of the person's
Of the
skin.
skin.
You know, like I can't recall names, but I can recall incidents, right? And I'll just run two real quick if I can, Bill.
Oh, please.
One,
Yeah.
one incident happened in the South. Kid riding his bike up and down the dirt road. Neighbor comes out with his shotgun, handgun, threatens to kill him because they're riding up and down the road with the motorbike.
Mhm.
Cops get the exact call. Hey, guy with a gun just threatened, young man, said if I ride up here again, they're gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. And he has a gun. I saw the gun. Two officers get there. They engage this middle-aged white man like he didn't have a gun.
Mhm.
The middle-aged white man took his gun out of his pocket as he's talking to the officer, shoots and killed both of them. Why? Because they were so uh,
Comfortable.
comfortable with his skin that they forgot tactics, even though they heard the exact call that I basically gave to you guys. And how many
Absolutely.
times have we seen situations where people get called to a domestic where we know there's a gun involved and they go knock on the door standing right in front of
In
the
front of the
door
door.
when they know there's a gun involved in the incident that initiated them coming in the first place. Why? Because they know the people inside have the same skin color and they comfortable thinking that because we're the same skin color, nobody's gonna hurt me.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
I think we all have done that where we
No,
went
we
to a
haven't.
call. Well, I know I have, where I went to a call and I'm like, oh, okay, this is in the this is in a lower income neighborhood. Everybody's out barbecuing. I'm gonna grab me a hot dog and chill with the rest of my folks.
It's called community policing, right?
Community policing, but I felt comfortable because they were
Sure.
all like me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
But as far as letting my guard down 100%,
Oh no.
no, no.
Who knew?
And let me give you a perfect example of what you're saying about letting your guard down. We're going to go to that cookout, and I see you, Mark. I know you said a nepotism, and I'm going to read your comment, Vanessa. But I'm going to talk about what we're talking about, not letting our guard down. We're going to go to that block party to tell them to turn that music down. They're going to offer us a hot dog and a soda, and we'd be like, okay,
Yes,
cool. You know what? Because you can play your music, but you don't keep it loud because
Mhm.
there's no problems in here. There's no drugs at the time.
yeah.
Probably no weed. Just everybody's having a good time. But now this is where we're not letting our guard down. We're never going to turn our gun to the crowd. We're going to always protect our firearm side. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Yes.
that's us never
Mhm.
having our guard, like
And
keeping our
nobody's
guard.
walking behind me.
Behind
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
We're gonna always police us. We're gonna protect ourselves. We're gonna watch our six. We're gonna make sure nobody's gonna press my gun side. You're not
Mhm.
gonna play me up close in my face and things of that magnitude.
We're
So
gonna
Yeah.
keep our distance.
yes. Now let me just get into this. I'm gonna read Vanessa's comment, and if it's a question, then I'll go to you, Norm, and then Alonzo. She said, yes, nepotism is the equation in many of these positions have been handled down from relatives, etc., to stay in control of power and living in the South. Their kids are given guns by the age of 18 years old. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. Norm, you're further than we are. Alonzo, you're in. I don't. It's a right. Is it a right to carry state where you are too?
Not yet.
Not yet, but it's easy to get a gun license,
Oh
right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
a gun with that, as long as you have a house, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you can carry concealed too. Go through your classes and all that. Get
Right.
licensed. Right.
But if you own a house, all you need is your driver's license, correct?
Right. You still got to go through the process to get the handgun.
Yes, absolutely. Okay,
Right.
right.
But there's no open carry.
Yeah, exactly. And same thing too within PA when I'm in PA. I say that to say that there's been times talking, and I put up a post years ago, and I got some flack from people over it. They teach their kids, and I say our white friends, about shooting at a young age. We're teaching our kids about PlayStation and shit like that, and everybody doing the cuff dance right now. There's some white kids out here right now. They do the cuff dance, but they going to the range tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? On Saturday with their parents, right? I had a person tell me this. I'm gonna see how guys you feel how deep this shit was. Person said to me one time. He said, "Yo," and I'm talking about white people at this point, but I'm not directly talking about white people, right? So if that makes sense to anybody, he said they like hunting. When there aren't any more animals left to hunt, who do you think they're going to hunt? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, okay.
They started already.
Yeah. You hit me with some Confucius, some Malcolm X, and some real, like, what next? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, down here, the kids are getting their shotguns and 30-06s and 7mm. They're getting that now for deer hunting. And these are kids that are 12, 13 years old. So they're starting early.
Yeah.
And I'm going further down south because I'm getting ready to move to Mississippi. And
wow.
I was telling my cousin, I remember times when you used to go down and the pickup truck had the gun rack on the back of it. And that was at the school. Was at the school. Nobody thought about shooting each other. Nobody thought about killing each other then. But it's getting to the point where they are. I always said, and I tell my sons, you're being hunted. You are a prey. You are the prey now. Don't give them a reason to make you a trophy on that mantle.
I'm telling you, people, but listen, it's a call, everybody. What we're trying to do is make you aware and wake up. Let me tell you something. When we start talking about fear and things of this magnitude, none of us was born a formal fighter. None of us came out our mothers kicking somebody's ass at the hospital. You know what I'm saying? We didn't just start crying and the doctor slapped you and you just got up and you whipped his ass. None of us. But what was taught to us as young urban men was don't let anybody pick on you. Don't let anybody take anything from you. And don't you ever come home, don't let somebody hit you and you didn't hit them back. And if you come home and somebody hit you and you didn't hit them back, I'm going to hit you.
I'm going to bust your ass.
I think that's the 4 rules that was talked about at the dinner table. It was probably over the walls in anybody's household. I say all that to say that's how we became good law enforcement officers. Because unless you had some formal training, you still was able to talk to somebody and be like, yo, listen, bro, I ain't come here to fight. You know what I'm saying? Calm down, relax yourself. It's only when he was like, yo, F you, blah, 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 I'll punch you in your face. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now you get a little carried away with your verbs and adjectives. You ain't punching nobody in the mouth. You understand what I'm saying? Because we try to de-escalate it, and now we're letting you know something's different going to happen, but we still didn't pull out our gun. You understand what I'm saying?
I think that's our culture. The
But
black
that's why
culture.
I'm thinking we became great police officers. You understand what I'm saying, Norm?
I understand exactly what you're saying, because in our culture, it's the four rules: don't let nobody hit you. Don't you hit nobody with that unless they hit you. Don't be no punk. Don't come home with ass beating.
Yeah, and don't let anybody take anything from you.
Take from you. But in the white culture, it's like, oh, you go tell the teacher.
Yeah.
You know, you go tell the teacher and the principal, or you just be nice to them.
Yeah.
But then those are the ones that snap. Those are the ones that got
some,
mental problems.
You know, yeah. My father said a long time ago, it ain't that bad, you're gonna get into some scraps, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. There ain't nothing wrong with getting your ass kicked, but you gotta make sure they know you were there.
That you was there.
And as you get a little better with your hands, you'll get yours.
Yeah, because like it's
we've
always
all been punched in the face.
It take ass to get ass. It take ass to get ass.
We've all been punched in the face.
Absolutely.
We've all had a bloody lip. We've all given bloody lips.
Absolutely.
We've all given bloody noses.
Yep.
We've been scraped and we did the scraping.
Yeah.
So and you got to get punched in the face at one point in your life. It's liberating because you find out it ain't that bad.
And let me tell you something. You become a better fighter when you take an ass whipping. Let me tell you something. You know why? Because
we all been there.
That shit again.
You know what you did wrong. You know what you did wrong. So you don't do that again.
Yep. I should have left that person alone, or I should have ducked, or I should have ran because that shit was not cute.
A good run be a bad stand any day.
But I will say this, all jokes aside, that's a very small piece of the issue that some officers have. When you've never been in a physical altercation or physical confrontation where you've had to use these.
Right.
And you're 28, 35 years old now, and you still never been in a situation. When it comes at you and you got all these tools, but you don't have the experience, that's not a good combination.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
It's like a drunk driver. It's a drunk driver. That's a drunk driver.
Yeah.
Because they don't have this, they can't handle it. You can't handle alcohol and a vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the same thing with them. They can't handle it that with all the equipment that they have available to them. You know,
I mean, there's so many different things that change. You know what I'm saying? And I want to ask you that before I want to read this comment. Then, Norm, would you finish? I apologize if you wasn't finished.
No, I said the worst thing is a scared man with a gun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host today, my brother Alonzo Moreland, aka Buck, and my man Norman Davis, Big Norm. This is a Hunter College reunion right now, everybody. Don't play yourself. We wearing the purple just for a few minutes. We wearing the purple.
Just for a few.
Yeah, just for a few. Vanessa said, right, Bill. I'm in Florida and live 15 minutes from a rifle range. It is like recreational for the residents. Monthly they have gun shows with bulletins. Ain't that something? Gun shows. Like, boy, I tell you, you can buy a gun anyway and get kind of gun. And then, when you're the further south you go, when you get to these states that are right. And listen, this ain't about, we can talk about this in a minute. I don't have a problem with gun, places that sell guns. I don't like, when I'm in PA or I'm sure in North Carolina, I want to be able to walk in the store and buy a gun anywhere I want. But I want you to do that background check on me, though. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, first and foremost, there should be age requirements for this. Do I think an 18-year-old should be buying a gun? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? There has to be some accountability for that. You know what? You're 18 years old. Excuse me. You want to buy a gun? No, your parent has to buy a gun. Now it's the responsibility. because something happens, the parent it goes on that parent's license. You know what I'm saying? Now parents, because you know what's so funny, it always comes back to when it's the responsibility of the parent. There's a different dialogue. I give you a perfect example. When we all got our driver's license and our parents let me borrow the car, mom. Let me borrow the car, dad. Listen, boy, don't go out there smacking shit up because if I got to pay more insurance, I'm busting your ass. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's the threat at the end, like, okay, I better not play behind this wheel. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When think about it, when you pass that knowledge down to your child, trying to teach your child how to learn how to drive, first thing you think is like, come on, listen, stop playing, because this vehicle can kill somebody.
This is a
It's
weapon.
it's a responsibility that comes with it. Guns are taught or made to feel like they're just like frisbees and sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Like playing around the house and everything is all right.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen co-workers, excuse me, not co-workers, my wife co-workers. They would ask him, "What are you buying your son for Christmas?" And he was like, "Oh, I just bought my 16-year-old rifle." So we show him how to, deer hunting. 16 years old. He not thinking about basketball and baseball or anything else. So you're teaching him how to shoot. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we all know, Stefania said exactly, it should go back to the parents. Absolutely. I think it should. So we know the problem. We know some of the problems. You're sitting down.
But my thing is this though, Bill. A lot of people know the problem, but nobody seems to have an answer, a solution to the problem. And government don't want to handle it because they'll lose so much money from the NRA.
Yeah, and that's a problem. So let me ask you a question. We got a call from Joe Biden. He asked the three of us to come. We're all different city states representing. We're all representing New York at one point. But then we're also representing North Carolina. The DMV area. I can represent New York and PA sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And he's sitting down with us and he says, "Listen, we got the czar and everything." He's going to say, "Okay, we just laid out a bunch of these problems that we feel." And he goes to you, he says, "Norman, okay, I know the problems. I heard the problems. Give me some solutions. What if you have your chance, what's some solutions?" And I'll ask and Alonzo next. Mm-hmm.
My solution is that we'll need to bring back community policing. We need to bring back more police officers in certain communities. Not just bring them back, but let them know their community. Don't switch out a police officer on every shift. Don't rotate them to another part of the. Well, here we got districts, so don't rotate him to a different district or different county. Leave him where he's at. Let him know his people. Bring back the PAL. After school programs are needed. It's a lot that's needed, but it's so much and it's so broad that we could go on. Officers need better training. Longer. I think that officers should be in training for at least 2 years. I think they should be in training for at least 2 years, and that 1 year should be spent as a rookie, getting to know policy and procedure, getting to be put into situations on a I guess on a trial error. They don't, and they need to be the ones when something do happen. They need to be prosecuted like John Doe. They need the same thing that happened to John Doe, like this shooting we just talked about. I pray and hope that this guy get life in prison because that was a wasted a life lost for no reason. So it's a lot that we need to do, but we as a community need to do better among ourselves also. We can't just depend on policing and government to do for us. We got to do for ourselves. We got to take back our communities. We got to. First of all, we got to start beating our kids. When they
Get back
took
to whipping that derriere. Exactly.
no whoop that ass.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
they
saying.
need.
Whipping that ass. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they need because kids don't have respect for their parents anymore. You know, I told my mother this not that long ago. I was never scared of you. I was never scared of my mother, but I respected her. It's a difference. When someone's scared of you, they'll hurt you. But
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
but when they respect you, you have better communication, you have better understanding of each other. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, bro.
We need to have parents involved in their children. Don't be scared to go in the room and see what they're doing. Don't be scared to go in their browser history and see what they're looking at. Don't be scared to see who their friends are.
Yeah, you better.
You know, it was a thing not too long ago, this week, and this only Wednesday. The young boy shot his mother because she didn't want to buy him the video glass, the video.
The video, I know what you're talking about, the video thing. Yep.
Yeah, he shot her dead. He shot his mother dead for not buying him that. He was
That makes
10
no
years
damn
old.
sense.
Right.
Because
That makes no sense.
one thing about it, my mother was never my friend.
She was my
You know,
mother. Yeah.
she was my mother. She was never my friend. And my kids are the same way. With my kids, my wife said, "How come you never bought the boys toy guns? Because they're not guns are not toys. So I don't want my sons to think, oh, this is what I play with. No, no, that's not a toy. You can play with Hot Wheel cars or something like that, or like you said, Bill, a football or basketball, but we're not playing with guns.
No. Absolutely.
But that to me, to Joe Biden will be we need to free up money to pay officers what they're worth. For I mean, who in the mornings when you go to work, you know, the last thing you think about is that, oh, today I may get shot. Today I may not come home. You don't want to think about that, you know, but we do. We do. We have to think about it like, okay, you got to get your mind right. You know, every call, you know, you got to be like, okay, well, let me see, let me brace myself, make sure that I'm in my right frame of mind. Because you know, when we at work, we can't worry about car insurance. We can't worry about braces for the kids. We can't worry about none of that. We got to have a clear mind to do our job professionally.
Absolutely. Lonzo, I'm gonna come in. Hold on, Lonzo. I'm gonna bring you in. Stefania, I'm gonna read that statement after Lonzo says what he says.
All right, I'll make it quick, Bill.
No, take your time. Go ahead. Take your time.
Couple of things that I think that can improve the police profession. It would be universal training or universal standardized training. So everyone across the board, regardless of what police department you're in, whether you're in NYPD with 35, 40,000 plus, Baltimore with 3,000, LA with, 9, 10,000, or some little place in, North Kakalaki with 3, right? Everybody gets the same exact training, right? So now there's a national standard, right? Also, I think the national standard around background checks for police officers. And by that, I mean, I should say, yeah, background investigations and screening. So let's say you have an officer that's in one location, he or she gets fired for, for a justified reason. When they go 5 states away and apply to another agency, that agency, with a click of a button, should be able to see what their background was.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you can't get a job here. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So this person can't hop around. So that way you eliminate those persons, because we have a lot of those persons that will get fired from one agency and get hired with another agency. To me, if you got fired with just cause from an agency, you should not have any other recourse to join any other agency.
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And then I think if we take a serious look at qualified immunity in civil cases, when you take money out of people's pocket, they tend to straighten up, right? So right now, most I know most major police departments enjoy qualified immunity, including us, right?
Yeah, right.
But I also know that when you do something really stupid that goes outside of your training, outside of the law, outside of your rules and regs, we call that being negligible or
Yeah.
negligent, right? And if you're negligent, you should not be able to enjoy the protections that come with the position.
Yeah.
You know, it's like any other profession, right? If a doctor is proven negligent, they have to pay up. If an attorney is proven negligent, they have to pay up,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Our profession should be no different.
Absolutely. I just to piggyback on what some of you guys are saying, because case I had the chance to speak with the president and I was with you guys. First, I would say I think training um, should be extended. You know, for New York, I think it's 9 months, but I think it should definitely be like a year or maybe a little longer. And I think once you pass the curriculum part of it, it should be all about self-defense tactics, just learning what it feels like to fight or get into a fight, all about de-escalating. But if you have to fight, what it is, why are you reaching for your gun when the person doesn't have a gun? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see your body reaching for a damn gun. I want to see you getting there and fight. If you feel like the person is Norm's height, 6'7", and you 5'6", then back your ass up and get on the radio and be like, yo, Central, send me some backup units, 85 forthwith. Why? And I'm gonna keep backing up until I get to cavalry. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna chop down this tree, damn near give me some axes. I'm not trying to do no butter knife because it's not gonna work. So the bottom line is, let's not be stupid. So this is what I'm talking about, training, because no matter what the stature of a person is, first and foremost, we all know a 5'2" person, female, if she don't want to be cuffed, she ain't gonna get cuffed. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be wrestling and tussling with her all day. We're gonna be out of breath. You know. Then let's understand what it is. What it is to from what's the level of force that we should use. That should be reiterated and taught. Listen, hand to hand, you can only go one level up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe ass, baton, that's it. Mace. You know, I would do away with the tasers. I think tasers are. I would
courage.
Tasers in the winter. I would do away with tasers in the winter because the bottom line is, if you got a bulky Colt and you tase somebody, it may not even penetrate it. So, and then I think what have we seen a lot of times when I do all these studies? Once you tase somebody, the first thing you say is like, "Oh, the taser didn't work, so now let me get my firearm." You understand what I'm saying? So let's tasers maybe just for the supervisors. Go back to the supervisor because you got everybody with a taser, and it seems like I've seen people get tased and then you shoot them. It doesn't make any damn sense to me. Like you said about financial problems, if you start holding people maybe under 20 or under a certain maybe amount of years, maybe 6-10 years, if you do something department deems, then okay. Definitely a better understanding of the law.
Yes.
When you talk about background checks, Bonds, you said something important. How about let's do a background check on your parents? Even though we as people we can't be held accountable for what our parents did, but the bottom line is, and when I say background checks, okay, I run Mr. William Foster Sr. Oh, I'm just going to use this as an example. Oh, it's known that he was a Black Panther. Okay. Black Panthers all right with me. Because if you bring me in and ask me about the Black Panthers, I'm going to tell you I think there was a great organization. You know what I'm saying? But I use that in reference if they bring it in and say he was part of the 5 Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Come in here, Matthew. Let me ask you about this. How do you feel about this? Because now the psychological should be geared more to what's your ideology and what's your thoughts. You understand what I'm saying? So because we know we take that universal psychological test, and it can be beat. It can be beat. But if I keep drilling you about, like, let's have questions in regards to how do you feel about racism and how do you feel about people of color? You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, we're not going to have all people of color working in all people of color neighborhoods. We're not going to have all white people working in all white neighborhoods. We're not going to have that either. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is, what kind of person are you? Let's go back to your high school. You know what I'm saying? Let's your high school teacher. Oh, they'll never listen. Oh, so now, not that he can't change, but do I see a sign of authority issues? You know what I'm saying? Do I? Let's see how many fights, how many times did he get suspended? You know, what do they do when they run our names in our school records? They just want to see our grades. You know, I had an agency one time go talk to my track coach, and he was like, "Oh," he said, "you didn't want to listen." Really? You interviewed my track coach? I said, because I didn't want to do no damn push-ups. That's why I didn't listen. Shit. I just ran 5 fucking miles. What the fuck you think? I want to do some damn push-ups. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the humiliating goal to be asking my track coach? Who is he? You know what I'm saying? Did he tell you I broke a record? Did he tell you that? Did you ask him about that? So, you know, I say all that. So these are the things, like I said, you know, these little diversity trainings that they have that are for 8 hours in one day, they're not going to change anybody. There needs to be like a week or 2 months, a month class on everything. Black, white. What are you going to do? Black, Latin, black, Asian, Chinese, you know what I'm saying? Like Jewish. Like we need to, how are you going to talk to these people? How are these people going to talk to you? And like Kevin used to say, maybe we need to go back to a little paramilitary training. You know, where the officer, the training sergeant, or the super training officer gets in your face and yells at you. Do you got thick skin? Could you take it? You know what I'm saying? Barking at you. Kind of get that paramilitary now. Everything is a country club. The world, even to the law enforcement, I say, you can't yell at an officer like you used to when you was training. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, be quiet.
One thing about to piggyback off what you and Alonzo both said, the training, but you need to get the old ones out of there that still got the ideology of the slave catcher.
Yeah, I agree.
You got to get them out. Then you got to do a mental health screening for the ones coming in.
Yeah.
Like you said, to see what are they thinking, what is their mindset, and get on the right and get them all on the same page.
Yeah.
One day that 8-hour diversity training, that ain't nothing.
That ain't shit. Yeah, that's going out to first and foremost. People only going to the training because they have to. They're not there listening. They sitting in there passing gas and cutting up and acting stupid. Everybody's Real Talk. Exactly. Trying to find out, can we leave early? If I don't take my lunch, can I leave early? Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. That's my man Norm Davis. That's Alonzo Moreland, and we're here. We have a real talk. We talked about the Atiana Jefferson case. We will be shifting that. We talked about the problems in law enforcement. Now we talked about giving a solution. I'm going to read some statements and see if you hear about this. Stefania said, also, have you guys seen the video of the white Kentucky student that verbally assaulted the black girl? I believe she called her an N-word over 200 times. But that's the thing as well. Parents these days don't want to be parents. They want to be their children's friend, or they're out still clubbing and enjoying their life and not necessarily partnering. Parenting efficiently. Vanessa said, spot on. Community policing is essential. Police training should be on a continuous basis as our society faces these serious issues. Yeah, I didn't see the Kentucky thing. I don't think I did. Did any of you guys? Stefania, you know you're one of my special agents of information. So please send that to me via our social media gathering so I can look in that, and then maybe it's definitely something I can talk about next week. These guys are more than welcome to come back next Wednesday if they have some time, and we can talk about more issues and just talk about other life things. So now let's talk about some politics, fellas. We had 2 black men. I'm going to say that again. You see, I got caught when I said men at one time. 2 black men running for Senate in Georgia, right? And this is what we have that represented the Republican Party, Herschel Walker. We had Reverend Warnock, Raphael Warnock, who was an Abyssinian preacher, who is a preacher, who's from Savannah. Herschel was from Texas. Now, I don't know if any, were you guys kind of following it a little bit?
Mhm.
No, were you a little bit? Yeah. Well, first and foremost, the question later on I'm going to ask is, what do you think our political parties are? But let me just ask you, what did you think? Before I ask you this, I'm gonna say this. I think it's disgusting that race was that close. It's disgusting to me that it had to be a runoff.
Yeah.
How terrible is our society, our political life, where right now, that no matter what they said about Herschel Walker, they was like, so.
Yeah.
How disgusting. So I just think it's a travesty that it even got to that point. I'll defer to you, Alonzo. What was your thoughts on that whole fiasco in Georgia?
Yeah. My thoughts are very similar. Let's just take the fact that we all know Herschel Walker was a good football player and all that good stuff, right? But the dude can barely put a sentence together. He has absolutely no history of any civic duties, no civic servitude, no political experience, no experience leading people, no experience serving people, right? He has absolutely no business even thinking that he can be a senator. But this is America, right? So you have a right to do whatever you want. I think when you look at that person as a candidate and you say, whoa, this person can serve not just his community, but the whole state. Come on, really? Really? And like you said, for him to get that many votes, it was a travesty, but I think it is part and parcel of the Republican, platform and the Republican plan, which is, disrupt the ability of the American public to freely vote, and where you can strategize to your to your advantage. Yeah, obviously do it. And if that strategy involves something as ridiculous as putting a Herschel Walker, up as your
Candidate.
your candidate, hey, if it's going to get that red ticket into office, they don't care, know.
Yeah.
But it was an embarrassment. I'm embarrassed for him because he's too stupid to be embarrassed for himself. There's levels to stupidity, right?
He made us look bad.
We
denounced him, dude, and he's still making us look bad.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be a real stupid person and not even realize you're dumb.
Yeah.
That there's levels to this thing, and that dude is way up there.
Yeah.
I
think he's
embarrassing.
on the top 10 of stupid list right now. He's
embarrassing.
Yep. Norm?
We got the lesser of two evils.
Okay.
Herschel was a pawn being used by the Republican Party, and even his kids spoke against it. Like Alonzo said, it's a shame that it was even that close that they had to have a runoff. But on a positive note, have you guys heard about the 18-year-old mayor in Earl, Arkansas?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yes, sir. So I look at it like that. We got something good to talk about besides Herschel Walker.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
You know, you don't want to keep beating the dead horse. It is what it is. He was a pawn for the Republican Party. Um, I'm glad they didn't uh, get that seat, but we got to keep showing up for things like that.
Right.
You see, all the Republicans showed up to make it a close race. They didn't like Herschel Walker, but they knew he would be used for whatever things the Republicans needed him to do. So he was just, I don't know, it was just a travesty because he
Let me
has
ask you a
no.
question, Norm. You said something. You said the lesser of two evils. Do you not feel anything for Warnock? Or you don't think he has any skill set? I'm just asking. This is real talk, brother. You know, I'm just asking.
He has a better tools to work with than Herschel Walker.
Understood.
I think Herschel Walker had too many concussions, and he's easily persuaded. The ones that laugh and grin are not your friends.
Yep. Yeah.
And he feel like those are his friends and whatnot. So he did what they wanted him to do.
Like Stefania said, she said, hold on, let me just read what Stefania said. It was so funny. She said, I found it very interesting that he has dissociative identity disorder, yet he's still qualified to run for their party. Listen, Stefania, thank you for that information. They would, if that man was damn near a borderline serial killer, because it's obviously he was a deadbeat dad. He talked about he wasn't for pro-choice, and you know you forcing women, you strong arming them, you making people get abortions and stuff like that, and you know you got kids. Your kids are coming out talking about you like you was a gossip, like they were gossip columnists. So it was a shame, and they still put him there. The only thing, you know, Trump is almost like the antichrist to a lot of these cats right now. You know what I'm saying? They rocking with him, but they don't want to mention him because they know some people might be like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. That's the wrong name to use. I saw something on the news one day. And just matter of fact, the lieutenant governor of Georgia went into the voting machine and didn't vote for neither one. He said on the news, he said, I did not like neither one of them. So I didn't vote. He said, now this is where it leads me to asking you guys, right now, the Democratic and the Republican parties are all messed up.
Yes, they are.
You know, what do we have here, bro? They gonna make me come out this Real Talk seat and think about running because this is crazy. And I mean, anybody right now is just throwing their hat in the ring and saying, yo, listen, I can do it. Yo,
well, see, that's one thing.
Yo.
That's one thing I strongly am for is term limits. They need to get all the old people that's in Congress, that's in the Senate, that's in the House. They need to get all of them out because they need people like you in there. They got common sense.
Yeah, exactly. Stefania's and the Marks, all these people that are watching, they need all of us because we are the voices right now. We're the rational thinkers. We're the ones. Let me tell you something. Everybody here, and correct me if I'm wrong, we all believe in law and order.
Yes.
Right? But the bottom line is we don't believe in killing black people, though, or Latin people. We don't believe in that.
No.
We listen. Let me tell you, if you got a gun, as we used to call it, the smoking gun in that person's hand. If you got it in your hand and
sure,
yo, listen, just shoot. And I'll be the first one talking about, yo, that was a good shooting. But the bottom line is, don't tell me what you thought you saw, and it wasn't that.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say? We have to understand what it takes right now to make this country better. Have we gotten too soft? You know what I'm saying? We got to find that happy median. Like, you know, if we're going to use that red and that blue, We need to get that purple. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can be strong on crime again. I think we kind of, like some people always say, Stefania, I think may say this, a lot of people say this, we kind of like passed it now. There's no turning back in this shit. You know what I'm saying? You took the blue pill, the red pill. There's no turning back. Right now, I see the softest people in Harlem doing the most larcenous shit. You know what I'm saying? Just walking, just reckless, talking crazy. And I'm looking at them like, yo, you soft. I know you soft. You're a second generation soft. You know what I'm saying? Your parents are soft. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh man,
you're from a historically soft family, and now you want to be a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? You was just reading and writing. You know what I'm saying? And now you're a tough guy. So I think, how do we get back to listen? Because Lord knows, if the Republicans get in office and somebody says, yo, push that button, they're going to be policing like a crazy madman. They're going to be doing all kind of shit. Because I'm saying, the blue states are kind of safe, but them red states, clunking upside their heads and all kind of shit. So we got to find a problem. Yeah.
I don't think any
second generation soft. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think any of the states are safe.
No,
because of who's in office. Yeah, you got some Democrats in office, a majority of Democrats, but look at who they are.
Yeah.
And I think the bottom line in this country is, regardless of your party affiliation, the people on the bottom still catch hell, right?
Yeah, we do. Yes, amen.
Yeah, and if it's not us, it's whoever came into the country the last, the latest.
Yeah.
We have to do a better job of holding our political leaders accountable. We can do that as a people. Obviously, we don't, but we do have the ability to, with our vote. We also have the ability to with our pocketbooks,
Yeah.
And collectively, we have to be better about doing things like that. Whatever those things are, we have to be better, pooling our money together as communities. And I'm not just talking about Black community, but, wherever your city, your town is, we can force our elected officials to do what we hire them or what we elect them to do. We choose not to, for various reasons, but we have the ability to do it. So
very well said. Very well said. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, you're right. I know. I said, second generation soft because a person is soft. They soft. It is what it is. I think right now, I think the old guard is not training the new generation on how to take the mantle. I think it's a point that they want to hold on to the power to a certain degree.
Oh yeah.
Which is sad, because the bottom line is, why do I have to wait for you to die off to teach me? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be, and when I say I'm saying you, anybody, just educate. I don't care if you're white, Black, Latin. I don't care what's your nationality, Asian, whatever, Jewish. If you feel the right things that I want to hear, then that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm trying to say? Let's understand there are a lot of people that really don't have a lot of power to change laws and stuff like that. You need all these senates and the houses and the things of that magnitude. But we need people that have like-minded. It's almost like the old guard has to die off for the new generation. But there has to be a new generation of people that want to be a part of something and fight for a cause and not just talk about, I heard about Atiana Jefferson, but let's go back to the historical aspect of slavery and understanding where we came from. How about this? Let's go farther back than that. Let's understand that we were kings and queens before we were slaves.
Before chains.
Exactly. So because the bottom line is, if we knew that in school that we would, because listen, let's admit it, when we was in school, all we heard was about Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, and
Malcolm X.
Windjammer William. I don't even know who the hell he was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And then you may have heard about Malcolm on the Low. Like, but the thing is, and Martin Luther King. Otherwise than that, that's the only people. We did not know anything about being kings and queens. You know what I'm saying?
You know, Bill, I watched an interview with Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks didn't know about the Tulsa massacre until he saw it on TV, and he was like, "How come I never heard about this?"
Yes.
Because a lot of you in New York, Bill. You know, Central Park was a black Wall Street.
Exactly. Yes, it was.
People don't talk about that. People don't talk about things like that. Our history is what they want us to know.
Because that's too elevating. That's too uplifting for our kids to hear. They don't want our children to be like, oh, wow.
But that's what they need. That's what these kids nowadays need, to know where they come from. You don't come from Kunta Kinte. You come from Shaka Zulu.
Absolutely. You come from Hannibal, who conquered Rome in Italy and got them Italian girls. You know what I'm saying? And made them Sicilians. You know what I'm saying?
I would have a question for you guys then, because I believe all that is true, right?
Yes.
But at what point do we, right, the individual who knows that all of this is floating around, right?
Yes.
We all came through the same school systems, right?
Yes.
At what point do you start to self-educate so that you can be a difference?
I think you start at a young age, just as way you talk about ABC and you're doing all these TikTok videos and you're doing this cuff challenge and shit. Because let me tell you something, I done seen everybody. You know, it's almost like a shame. Like I might have to start cuffing and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like what else is it? Listen, positivity don't sell. I do a brunch party. Buck, you know, you seen it off the chain. I do positivity. I got to struggle for views,
right?
And you know, so I think it's all about the education that your family taught you, or whoever, somebody in the village taught you. Because if your mother and father didn't teach you, there was somebody in your village that saw you and told you to go to school, and did you know about this and stuff like that, and how you were educated. Because it took a village to make me conscious. You understand what I'm saying? And I appreciate those people that have enlightened me, and you know, and Lons, you know, like Mac was a little fight the power rascal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was riding with him every day in the car. So I mean, I give him his props. You know, he definitely was educational in that aspect. And we have to understand, what is it that you want to fight for? Because once you speak up, you got to be ready for all that smoke.
You got to be ready for that smoke, man.
You got to be ready for that smoke. And a lot of people ain't ready for that smoke.
Because it's not normal right now. And we're drivers, right? Our culture drives the economy. Our culture drives society, right? All four corners of the world, our culture is driving the economy, right? Yeah. But at the same time, we have this habit of not making things that can elevate us. We don't make those things normal. The things that distract us, that can destroy us, those are the things that we allow to become normal, right? So, like, I hear exactly what you're saying, Bill, and I totally agree, right? But we can all do that, right? Like you was talking about the cuffing videos. Is that cuffing?
Yeah, cuffing. Yeah.
Right. That's becoming normal. Like you're seeing it over and over and over, right? Well, there's other stuff out there, right? The information, the kings and queens before the Mayflower, it's all out there. It's been out there for hundreds of years. We just got to take it and use it.
And let me tell you something. You know, Norm, I'm gonna let you come in. I just want to say two things. You're totally right, Buck. But you know who has to speak it? You, I, and Norman. They don't want to hear us. It has to be the LeBrons. It has to be the Aaron Judges. Sure. It has to be the little babies. It has to be the Jim Joneses. It has to be the Drakes. It has to be the somebody else of that man, because the Fat Joe is speaking it. So I gotta give him his props. You know, you gotta get the Chuck D's have always spoken.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the Spike Lees have spoken. Where are those people that need to speak it? That they're going to be like, oh, if he's speaking it, then
It carries weight.
then exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because if you and I speak, they're gonna be like, yo, get out of here, old head. You know what I'm saying? Shut
But
up.
we can still do it in our small corner of the property, right?
Oh no,
In
absolutely.
our households and on our steps, in our jobs, when we're coaching and mentoring, right? But I definitely agree with what you said.
Yes.
You know, those who control the media, those who have access, those who have a platform, you know, it would be nice if they were better educated
Yeah,
to those
because
types
think
of
about it. You
realities.
know what I'm saying? Like bravo to Kyrie for speaking up on something. But the
Mhm.
bottom line is, you spoke up on something, and next thing you know, at one point she was talking about the world was flat. Okay, now
Right,
and then all of a sudden,
right.
now you want to talk about the Jews. But wait a minute, let's talk about the kids. Stop putting down the guns. I don't hear these athletes talking that. Let's
Right.
talk about learning about your yeah. Okay, you want to teach a child that a young African or a Latin person that you come from the Hebrew or we are the Hebrews or whatever. But what about where's the king and the queen thing? Let's talk about that, bro. Like I don't understand what kind of battles we picking first. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem for Milans and Norm.
Disconnected.
Everybody's everywhere.
Yeah,
Like,
we all
it's just like for
disconnected.
causes. You want to fight for sickle cell. I want to fight for prostate cancer. No one wants to fight for diabetes. Somebody else want to fight for lung and throat and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's how about we pick one, and then we chop it up together. Because you know what's so funny? When you see breast cancer, you see whites, blacks, you see everybody, right? All them women out there, they repping together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you see other cancer situations, you don't see, when you see prostate cancer, you don't see black men and white men and Asian men and Chinese men and we walking together. Because we don't even want to tell nobody we got prostate cancer.
Right.
They want to tell somebody we took a colonoscopy. You know what I'm saying? So we're so ass backwards on certain things. We need to get our shit together. Let me just read some comments. Shout out to everybody that's chiming in, man. I see you, Roscoe. Like Vanessa said, she said, yeah, we need to clean house from those who have been in and brought out. We need new blood in the politics. I see you, Roscoe, my man. Mark said, Bill, I would love, and I'll get your guys' thoughts on this. He said, Bill, I would love for all our athletes got together and shut down each individual sport at their apex points. Super Bowl, NBA chips. This country only recognizes power.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait a minute. Yo, I think all three of us know this name. Lisa Moreland said, I'm thankful for my king. He is a walking encyclopedia and ensures we read and listen to that as we know. Oh,
Who's she
Kool-Aid in the
talking
house.
about? Not my man Zoe.
Yeah. Shout out to Alonso's wife, Elisa, our Kool-Aid, our college girlfriend, our girl, our little sister. Mark also said we need more people who are willing to be warriors and not fake wake. Fake woke. Absolutely. Fellas, I appreciate you guys. This is Real Talk. Everybody, please subscribe. We're not going yet. I just want to shift it, a little bit into the politics. I mean, not into the sports arena. Where are athletes standing up? Listen. I'm in some police groups. They were disgusted because Aaron Judge wore a Black Lives Matter shirt. I said, listen, he's half black, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't goddamn friends. Athletes should not get into politics. Really?
Athletics and politics has always been entwined. Always.
Listen, just like athletics and hip hop.
Don't we do the national anthem before every game?
Absolutely. Real
Don't
talk.
We pray before?
Real talk, brother. Real talk. Before a football
What's
game.
the Olympics about?
Let me tell you something. Every time I'm for a Notre Dame game, they pray. They sit down on the knee. They get out there and pray before they hit that field. You know what I'm saying? So let's knock it off. I say all that to say that, like going back to what you guys were saying, and what we all were saying, we need these athletes. So kudos to LeBron for speaking out. He called the media out. Why didn't you ask about Jerry Jones? Ask me about Jerry Jones. I thought that was so on point. I thought it was so powerful. You know what I'm saying? Because he made the media look at themselves. And then it goes back to what Kyrie Ye was saying about the media kind of holds and depicts on what says.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Facebook pushed me over here. Kept me on YouTube, made me kind of start all over and rebrand myself, even though I was doing both. But it's okay. I'm not going to stop. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop. I'm going to say what I say. The shit, like, you know me, if you can't kick my ass, ain't too much you can say to me. You know what I'm saying?
And that was my thing. That was my thing, because I'm looking for you on Facebook. I'm like, where's my man Bill? But I was seeing like a day later. And I'm like, okay. But I was on my own world, because I was trying to get the house down in Mississippi. I was trying to do this and do everything else. And then I said, tonight when you hit me, I'm like, oh, no doubt, I got to stop everything, because this comes first. Because you never know who you're going to reach or who you're going to touch. Right. And I know what you've done for me. I know what you and Alonzo both have done for me. And
we still here for you too, baby. Still here for you.
Absolutely.
Hey, let me tell you this story, and I'm going to be quick about it.
Please.
When I first came to North Carolina from New York, the police stopped me. I was downtown trying to be cute. So a little girl, I'm running behind a little girl. They said, hey, you can't jaywalk. Jaywalk? What if I let them have it? Both of them. I let them have it with both barrels and reloaded. Yeah. And they looked at me, and I walked away. They were beet red. They were blood red. That's how mad they were. But they didn't do anything. And I said, I'm so used to talking to police, and up in New York, you talk, man, go on about your business. Leave me alone.
Knock it off. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So I said, then when it happened to me, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. You ain't supposed to talk to me like that. But then it's a cycle that needs to be broken. And that's what we need to do, is break that cycle. I'm copying off of you, Bill. I want to do a barbershop Real Talk on Saturdays.
That's what's up.
I
want you to do it.
Where the young kids could come in there and talk, especially the young men that don't have father figures, don't have male figures in their life, where they could come in there and say, hey, I'm going through this, that, and the other. What's the solution? I don't know the solution, but I can tell you what I would do if I was your age at that point.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then we could work from there. But you can't give up on them. You can't do it.
We're not going to give up on them.
Yeah, you can't make it a one-time talk, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's what got me. That's what got me was that everybody didn't need to be booked. Everybody didn't need to go wearing cuffs. Some people just wanted to talk and get their frustration out and vent to you. And for us, we take the blue off and still be black.
All the time, brother. All the time. Mm-hmm. I want to tell you a story similar to that. I never forget. I had a black officer threaten to give me a ticket for jaywalking at the Million Man March. I couldn't believe it. I said, yo, all this out
in DC.
And you talk about, yo, don't jaywalk?
You sure it wasn't Alonzo?
Man. Nah, Alonzo and I wasn't on that job yet, because I'd have been like, F you. If I had the power then, what I had now, I'd have said, get the fuck out of here. Do it. I'd have been like, chase me, punk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I couldn't believe that he threatened me with jaywalking. He said, get your butt on that sidewalk before I give you a ticket for jaywalking. I said, whoa. I want now that I know the magic word, I would have said, you're not on overtime? Like, are you serious?
Right.
Is this straight pay? Why are you mad? You know what I'm saying? Let me read Vanessa's comment. She said, hold on, let me put my glasses on, showing my age. We get a little tend up there, fellas. She said, there's a movement brewing in the South to explore our true history of who and where we are and where we came from, the transatlantic voyage, and trace it back to regions of West Africa and Hebrews. They are black divers. Oh, please, anything you have about that, Vanessa, please keep me in the loop of that, just to educate me and I can follow that path with you. In Mobile, all discovering items to prove it. Oh, that's what's up. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm Bill Forster. That's Alonzo, and that's Norm. Let me ask you a
Well,
question. We go, unless you guys want to say something else. I want to
I
talk
just
to you about
want
some. Go
I just
ahead,
want to
please.
say about the politics with the basketball, with sports in general. A lot of these athletes are scared to speak up because of that payday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, they don't want to lose the endorsements. Like Kyrie, he lost the endorsement with Nike, but I do believe he's going to make his own shoe.
Why
I
not?
do believe he's going.
Why not?
Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, Shaq is is CEO and part owner of Reebok.
Mm,
Now, how did he get all that? But yet he's going to condemn Kyrie.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
media the
That
media
money
is
is
white
powerful.
owned.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
media is
Yeah.
white owned. So he's doing.
Mhm.
Shaq is saying what they want him to say. He's a puppet. He's a puppet. I
Yeah.
think all of them are. And I think I sent it to you today, Bill. The clip with Muhammad Ali and Joe
Oh,
Frazier when they.
oh, that was so beautiful. We said this. We both. Yeah, that was so beautiful, right? They said, "Let us
Yeah.
team up together." I think you sent it to me. Yes, you did. Yep.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah.
what we need to do. We need to team up. You fighting breast because you know men do get breast cancer. People don't talk about that, but men do get breast cancer. When you
Oh
Yeah.
talking
yeah,
about
absolutely.
cancer, Alonzo talking about diabetes. I'm talking about
Mhm.
Alzheimer's. Those are
Yeah.
things that we can all come together with, bring together, and you never know what you thinking of may come off for Alzheimer's.
And that's
You
why I
know,
always say all the time that listen, I always try to tell people when we galvanize and we want to talk about different things. I said, listen, well then let's talk about what Norman wants to talk about for a month straight. Let's get that month out. And then Alonzo and Norm will join forces with me and talk about what I want to talk about for a month straight. And then we'll talk
Mhm.
about what Alonzo wants to talk about for a month straight. And then we'll keep going around and around and around. And then there'll be people that want to join the bandwagon because people want to join on the bandwagon when shit is hot. You know what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying?
absolutely,
They want to join
absolutely.
on the shit when the shit is hot. You know,
Yep,
they don't want
yep.
to be there from the beginning. They want to be
Nah,
there at
nah.
the end. You know what I'm saying? So
to
Yeah,
reap the benefit, to reap the
absolutely,
benefit.
but that's
But you
okay.
know,
You know,
one thing I want to
there's space
say,
for bandwagon.
yeah, yeah.
one thing I do want
Somebody
to
got to sit
say,
in that shit, right?
Yeah, somebody,
one
right?
one thing I do want to say, mental health for law enforcement is extremely important.
Right, right, right.
Extremely important, especially for black officers.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Because first of all, we as black men, we're not supposed to have mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then as
That's what people have to
officers,
think.
yeah, and then as officers, you're not supposed to have mental health issues at all.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and like I said before, we do have mental health issues because we're the ones that run towards the gunfire. You know, and take a certain type of mentality to run towards gunfire, not knowing where it's coming from or who it's meant for. So
Well,
we
I will say this in lieu of having doing the help because the bottom line is we got to deal with the community denouncing us and the people that we work with
Right.
denouncing us. Like we get them from both ways. And then God forbid we come home and our relationships are not
where
fruitful.
you want it to
You know what I'm
be.
saying?
You
Yes.
Yeah,
got to learn coping skills. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and it goes
It,
back to something you said early in the program, Bill, and I think Norman said it when we talked about, the role of the parent, right?
Yes,
We
yes.
teach our children how to cope. Well, we should be teaching our children how to
Mm-hmm.
cope. And of course, as they get older, they learn how to cope with more and more complex, situations, and learn how to cope with situations that involve more and more emotion, right? So when they do get to that place where they're supposed to be adults, hopefully they have the coping skills to match their age. Problem is, going back to the second generation of softies, we are creating we're creating generations of people who don't know how to cope, right? We You have some kids who can go a whole day without having human contact other than when they're in school. The
Yeah.
rest of the day is spent on the phone, in front of the video game, or in front of the television, right? So this is not me preaching, but it's just coping skills. You
And
know,
it's all right, brother. You can preach if you want to, because that's what it's all about, man. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Please.
gotta learn how to cope. If
You
you
know,
learn how to cope, you can learn how to deal with the things out there on the street when you become a police officer. Because all
And
it is,
see,
you're dealing with people all day long.
and
problem,
see,
You're
problem solving.
right.
Problem
We are hired and paid well to deal with problems, right? That's why there's no such thing as disturbing the peace of a police officer. You get paid to be disturbed.
Exactly.
But if
Yeah.
you're not able to handle that, then you shouldn't be in the profession.
Yeah.
but
Very much.
for me, you know, I told Bill my story. I told you, Lonzo, my story. It was just the fact that I was so used to coping by myself that I didn't
Well,
have no
you
one.
was out there by yourself too, Norm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about literally
Mm-hmm.
and figuratively. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, and that was my fault because I should have never put myself in that position. But then I let the job get on me. I let the job get to me, and that's what I shouldn't have done. Um, so when I came to Bill, and I told Bill, and I told you, Lonzo, it was just by the grace of God. Whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, it's always a higher being,
Yeah.
and that higher being pulled me through with the help of you two.
And you know what's so funny? And just to segue into that conversation real quick, everybody, holidays are a very bad time, but life in general is a bad time. The moral of my story is saying if you need somebody to talk to, please do not be afraid, man or woman, to reach out to somebody
Mm-hmm.
and feel that you can converse with them and not feel that they're gonna laugh at you. Because sometimes you got to find out who you could talk to, but talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it may be the doorman, it may be the person at the grocery store, it may be the neighbor that you like, but you don't speak too much of. It may be the college friends. You know what I'm saying? That you can reach back and find out and be like, what? You need a talk a conversation. You need an ear. Sometimes the best conversation, the best advice is just a listening. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to always give an opinion. You don't have to always give something, but to let you know a person there is like, yo, I can hear you. What are you feeling? I'll talk to you. Listen, we come from a world of being too much machizo. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure all three of us here, I know my father used to be like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Beat my ass and then tell me don't cry. How psychologically damaging is that shit? You know what I'm saying? But it toughens you up, right? And then I remember I didn't cry for 18 years. When my grandmother passed away, I almost was about to cry. And then I didn't cry until my father passed away in 1996. From 78, I think it was 78 or something like that. 70, yeah, I think 78, something like that, maybe. And then 79 to 1996. I never cried. Never shed a tear. Nothing made me cry. Listen, when my father passed away, I cried so much like a baby. I cried for all those years. And then had to realize, like, yo, B, you never cried. But how did it affect me going towards relationships and dealing with people and talking to people? Sometimes I could be so insensitive. You know what I'm saying? Because
No.
I didn't want to touch. Yeah, exactly. You know, I didn't want to touch that soft side. But like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
what? What's so? Well, come on, toughen up. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like, yo, I can't relate. Then I had to understand, like, yo, it's all right. Let me tell you something. From the passings of my mother and father, I've cried so much. Man, shit. I will never forget one time I was watching the movie Rudy. And that little white boy won at the end. He got that tackle. I started crying and shit. I was like, go, Rudy. I'm just saying certain things touch you, you know, father, relationships, whatever. So I'm just saying, please just understand what you need to make you a better person. I mean, that's really the moral of my story with a little humor with it. But like I said, I didn't cry for so many years. and then it transcends into relationships, male, females, and whomever. Sometimes you can be so desensitized to certain things. Something happened, you'd be like, yo, toughen up, take that. What's wrong with you? And that becomes a problem. And still to this day, I can see certain things about like, yo, like that's not me. I can't relate to that. I may feel sympathy or empathy for something, but I'm not gonna sit here and woe is me. Like I'm still got to put that that tough jacket on and handle that BI. Before we get out of here, Vanessa said, hey, Colin, I see you. Vanessa said, that's awesome. Our young men need that form for talk therapy. Great idea, Norm, she was saying. Before we get out of here, talking 3 minutes of sports. Who you liking in football, real quick, if you liking anybody. Then I'm going to go to baseball and basketball. Who you liking in football?
I still like Kansas City, my Giants.
The Giants, exactly. You going for Kansas City, Buck?
Yeah, I still rock with all the New York teams, but if I'm predicting, I'm predicting Kansas City.
We just saw Von Miller's out for the whole year.
For the year?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe next Wednesday we might play with some sports a little. If you guys come back, we might talk a little sports too. But and I'm thinking about doing a sports segment, so keep that in mind. One day I might ask you guys to join, be a part of that podcast with me. So yeah, Von Miller's out. Buffalo, Josh Allen is looking like the truth. Giappolo, I can't even say it. Giappolo. Yeah, I'll tear that shit up on the test. I'm a fail. He's out.
Yeah, he's out.
What's the kid that used to be with Cleveland?
Baker.
Yeah, Baker. He's now with
LA Rams.
No, they really go. They really trying to get a wish out that bottle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Deshaun Watson,
he's back. We can talk about
Hurts
that.
killing it.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson is hurt.
Yeah.
A little knee joint.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I really think it's a toss up. I think Buffalo will come out, prevail. Listen, I still like Cincinnati. That boy Burrows, that Burrows boy, he's the truth, man.
Yeah,
he's the truth.
If
so
the Ravens get Lamar back, the Ravens always a contender when he's playing.
Yeah,
defense is playing better. Cincinnati's explosive.
We can't forget Minnesota. Minnesota is crazy right now.
They're gonna start losing some of those one score games though.
Yeah, that kid Jefferson. But go ahead, Norm.
Let me ask you guys a question. Other than baseball, hasn't sports gotten soft?
Absolutely. Basketball, you can't foul. Listen, yo, we will foul each other hard as shit if we go down that lane, bro. You be like, get out there.
Football, you can't fall on nobody.
Yeah. I was watching the game the other day, and I'm like, roughing the passer. He got pushed into the passer. I'm like, and then there's this. The chop blocking, I agree with that. Chop blocking, they shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just it was crazy because my wife, she's a Steelers fan, and so she's like, I'm like, they're soft. Yeah. You 400 pounds and soft.
We just got a question.
Not soft. The rules are soft.
Absolutely. Well, they're going to protect the brand. They're going to protect the quarterback. Stefania asked us a question, and I'll end with that. We'll come if you guys are free next week. Come back Wednesday. We'll talk of some sports too. Stefania says, "What do y'all think about Deion Sanders leaving JSC?" I'll start with you, Norm.
A lot of people don't know the half behind it. Okay. He got tired of getting his car broken into. His son got his car broken into a few times. The money was there, but it was being misappropriated by the governing bodies of the school. It was just a lot that he had going on besides sports. He was been there 3 years.
Yeah. And they were champions, and they took him to the championship. Yeah, the chip.
Undefeated this year.
Well, you look at all he's done for HBCUs. Now they got the ESPN network with them. He brought a lot of notoriety to HBCUs Did I want him to leave Jackson State? No, because where I'm moving to is only an hour from Jackson,
Oh, so you would have went and checked it out, yeah.
and I was going to go check it out. My uncle was the president at one time of Jackson State, so he go to all the games. So we were going to start doing that, but with Dion leaving, uh, I mean, he did what's best for him. He did what's best for him and his family, but he took a lot of the players and a lot of staff with him.
Yeah, he did. He did. He did.
But that's normal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's part of the
that way he didn't forget where he came from, and he has an organization that already know him.
Mm-hmm.
And even the recruits, the recruiting that he
They
did,
decommitted. Yeah,
they decommitted and they're going with him. So,
yeah.
Hey, it is what it is. I'm like this though. Nothing against Dion, nothing against Colorado, but we got bigger issues than that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Buck, what's your thought, man?
Hey, I rock like Norm. I don't have a problem with him leaving. I think he got into coaching for a couple of reasons, right? One, because he loves young people, but two, he wants to show that he can coach with the best on the biggest stage. Yes. And you know, each of us should be able to follow our dreams. You know, maybe his dream is to be on the biggest stage, winning the national championship, and showing that people that look like us can do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And touch young people at the same time. And it don't hurt getting paid.
Nah,
you know.
Not at all.
But I'm like, no, we got bigger fish to fry.
Absolutely. And my closing argument on that is that last week I touched on it a little bit before we closed out. I have no problems somebody elevating themselves. Like the person said in the podcast, he wanted Dion to stay and reach back to the athletes and make them put all their money. His thing was why aren't these athletes and politicians, and industry people not putting their money in HBCU schools? That's a good question. I don't know. I have no answer to that. You know, HBCU is part of our culture. Even if you didn't go there, you went down to somebody's homecoming. Mm-hmm. Each one of us here went to somebody's homecoming. And if you've ever went to a black HBCU homecoming, it is phenomenal. It's something to enjoy. It's almost like a rite of passage to be a young man to college, to be a player, or to like a girl, anything. It's a rite of passage. You be like, they stomped the yard. Oh shit! Like this, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And these girls are skiing and throwing up angles and triangles and all kind of shit. I think it's awesome, the Divine Nine, to learn that history, but they do teach you historically. But why aren't people really supporting HBCU schools? I have no idea, because there isn't any money in it. But like you guys said, I'm not mad at Dion for moving on, because he's a Hall of Fame player and he has the right. He went to a HBCU school and he did his thing, and now he got the notoriety where Colorado want that chip too. They want to see if it's real. So yeah, who are we to stop somebody from advancing and get mad at him because he's leaving and
he did it the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Like Norm said, we didn't know all about the car break-ins and things of that magnitude. Like, that's crazy to me. I'm not gonna keep getting my window broken and every day, and then they holding back misappropriation of fund. We playing on a football field like we playing on the park in the Queens. You know what I'm saying? Baisley or Riverside or on the East Side. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, we playing on this kind of field. Put the money into the field. Give me state of the art shit. So I don't really have a problem with him leaving. I would love for our people to do more for HBCU schools, but that's another topic. Why like I said, we always picking our poisons. It's just like right now, you go to the store and they'd be like, "Do you want to round your money off to help some cause that I don't know about?" I don't know about no fucking seals in Alaska. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You don't round my shit off to nothing. Round it off back to my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't care if it's 13 cents. Give it here, man. I don't care about the geese in Alaska. I don't care, bro. So I say all that to say, we need to all find a cause and work on them, each one simultaneously or collectively, and then we can be better people. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. Norm, Alonzo, everybody leaves with positive affirmation. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for great discussion. Norm, give us some positive affirmation. We close out. Alonzo, give us some positive affirmation. My positive affirmation first is to say, like, yo, listen, we're coming up on the holiday seasons. It's not a holiday to everybody. Reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, or just a person that you right so close to. You may not know that they may need some conversation. Reach out to them. Try to be nice. Treat people like you want to be treated. You know, that part of the world you might just make a little better. Support Real Talk Chronicles. Subscribe to it, like it, and just foster the moment. Real talk. Norm, give us some positive affirmation, and then Alonzo, you can close us out. Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to say that I appreciate you guys. We've been down. What has it been, Bill? 30 years. We've been down for a
Absolutely.
minute,
Yeah.
and hopefully, you know, it'll continue. Well, not hopefully, it'll continue.
It will continue until
And
to the Sandman call our name. You know what I'm saying?
the Sandman comes. But
Yep.
my thing is that if anybody need to talk, you can get my information through Bill. You can hit me directly. I'm here for anybody. And what we talk about is what we talk about. I appreciate the time that we had tonight. It means a lot to me, and I'm thankful to that. It's good to see Alonzo. It's been a minute since I've seen him. It's good to see Bill. It's good to see my brothers and to hear from my sisters. Nothing but love. Nothing but love. And this thing we call life, it doesn't have a script to it, so you write a new one each day.
Absolutely.
So
Amen.
enjoy.
Amen.
Yeah.
Lonzo, close us out, brother.
Yeah, I'll just quickly say, be bodacious enough to strive for whatever it is that you want. Be bold enough to go out there and get it. And don't be afraid of failure. Failure ain't nothing but a try, right? And then, love and appreciate the people that you're supposed to love and appreciate. God put those persons in our pathways for reasons. Part of the reason is to show love, show appreciation, help who you can help, mentor who you can help, mentor who you can mentor, and, just do your thing and be happy with it. Yeah.
Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. That's Alonzo Moreland. That's Norman Davis. I'm Bill Foster. Happy Wednesday. See you next week, Monday. Appreciate you. Fellas, please try to come back next week, Wednesday. We're going to chop it up. Good night, everybody. Fellas, don't leave. We're going to stay in the green room for a second.
All right.
Yeah.